Welcome back to Finance Watcher, your trusted source for crypto news, market analysis, and financial insights. Today, we're discussing an important XRP update that could determine where the market goes next. After months of selling pressure, XRP has now entered what one analyst calls a green area of interest. Some traders believe this zone could become the foundation for the next major recovery. Others argue that the downtrend is still intact and that investors should remain cautious. So is XRP finally forming a bottom, or could even lower prices still be ahead? Let's break down the latest analysis and see what the charts are actually telling us. Before we discuss the opportunity, we first need to understand why XRP is under pressure. At the time of this report, XRP is trading around $1.14. That puts the asset roughly 68% below its all-time high of $3.60, reached in July 2025. It has also lost nearly 38% of its value since the start of the year. For many investors, this decline has been frustrating, especially considering that XRP spent years fighting through regulatory uncertainty before finally reaching new highs. However, markets rarely move in a straight line. Strong rallies are often followed by periods of correction, consolidation, and trend resets. According to market analyst ChartNerd, XRP's technical structure began weakening after losing several important moving averages. One of the most important bearish signals was the appearance of a weekly 20 and 50 EMA death cross. For viewers who may be unfamiliar with this term, a death cross occurs when a shorter moving average falls below a longer moving average. Traders often view this as a sign that momentum has shifted from bullish to bearish. Once that signal appeared, XRP continued losing strength and eventually declined from its January 2026 high near $2.40. The market later dropped toward the $1 area, creating concern among both short-term traders and long-term investors. And that's where the current story begins. According to ChartNerd, XRP has now entered what he calls a green area of interest. This zone ranges roughly between 70 cents and $1.25. Why is this area important? Because it was one of the most significant resistance zones in XRP's recent history. Throughout much of 2023 and 2024, XRP repeatedly struggled to break above this region. Every attempt was rejected. The market simply couldn't maintain momentum. Then, something changed. During the fourth quarter of 2024, XRP finally broke above that resistance. That breakout triggered a major rally, which eventually helped push XRP toward its all-time high. Now, the market has returned to that same region. In technical analysis, old resistance can sometimes become new support. That is exactly why analysts are paying close attention to this zone. If buyers successfully defend it, XRP could begin building a stronger foundation for the future. However, investors should remember that support zones are not guarantees. A support area only becomes meaningful if buyers actually step in and defend it. This is why ChartNerd emphasizes patience and confirmation rather than blind optimism. Interestingly, this discussion connects with our previous Finance Watcher XRP video, where we examined how institutional interest and market structure can influence long-term price trends. If you haven't watched that analysis yet, it's worth checking out after this video because it provides additional context regarding XRP's broader market position. So what happens next? Let's look at both sides of the argument. In the bullish scenario, XRP successfully holds the green area of interest. Buyers continue defending the current range. Market sentiment gradually improves, and the asset begins reclaiming key resistance levels. If that happens, analysts would likely start looking for confirmation that a larger recovery phase is developing. A successful move above important resistance zones could attract additional buyers back into the market. However, there is also a bearish scenario. If selling pressure continues and support levels fail, XRP could move deeper into the lower portion of the green zone. That would place greater attention on the 70-cent to 90-cent area. While some investors may view such prices as opportunities, it would also signal that the broader downtrend remains active. This is why confirmation remains the most important factor. At the moment, analysts are not saying XRP has already bottomed. They are saying XRP has entered a historically important region where a bottom could potentially form. Those are two very different things. Many investors make the mistake of assuming support automatically means reversal. Professional traders usually wait for proof before changing their market outlook. And right now, the charts are still asking for that proof. Another respected analyst, EGRAG Crypto, has highlighted several important short-term levels. According to his analysis, bulls remain in control on lower time frames as long as XRP stays above the support area between $1.13 and $1.14. As long as buyers defend that zone, the market could attempt another move higher. His first upside target sits near $1.19. A stronger breakout could then push XRP toward $1.26. These levels are important because they could provide the first signs that bullish momentum is returning. On the downside, traders are closely monitoring support around $1.09. Below that sits the critical $1.05 area. If XRP loses those levels, selling pressure could increase once again. Looking further ahead, ChartNerd believes investors should also watch the weekly resistance levels around $1.45 and $1.78. Until XRP reclaims those levels, many analysts will continue viewing the larger trend as bearish. So where does that leave us? The answer is simple. XRP has entered one of the most important technical zones on the chart. The opportunity may be growing, but confirmation has not yet arrived. The next few weeks and months could play a major role in determining whether XRP is building a long-term bottom or preparing for another leg lower. If you enjoyed this analysis, subscribe to Finance Watcher for more XRP updates, crypto market news, ETF developments, institutional adoption trends, and technical analysis. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next update.